I was a complete and utter failure, or so I believed. That's why I drove to a deserted corner of the park that night, stuffed a towel into my car's exhaust pipe, and turned the key in the ignition. My foot slammed down on the gas pedal, and within seconds, thick clouds of exhaust began flooding the cabin. At 20-something, I was already $1 million in debt. The crushing weight of it all was tearing my family apart. This wasn't about giving up. It was about making it look like an accident so my wife and daughters could collect the insurance money and survive without me. But just as I was slipping away, something strange happened. A muffled tapping sound came from outside the window. When I stumbled out of the car in a daze, I found myself face to face with an old high school classmate. Even stranger, my leg, which had been crippled for 20 years, was suddenly whole again. I turned around, confused, and saw that my beat-up old pickup had transformed into something brand new. Staring at my 18-year-old reflection in the side mirror, the impossible truth hit me. Somehow, I'd traveled back in time to my high school days. My classmate and I headed back to school together. Everyone greeted me warmly along the way because back then, I was the star quarterback, the most celebrated athlete on campus. If things went according to plan, $1 million contract and a bright future were waiting for me, but no one could have predicted what would happen on the day of the state championship game. With just 3.5 seconds left on the clock, I scored the winning touchdown, bringing our small town its first ever state title. The cost, however, was devastating. In that final moment, an opponent's brutal hit shattered my leg. I became permanently disabled, lost my shot at football forever, and watched my chance at a college scholarship, my one ticket to a different life, slip through my fingers. The next 20 years passed in a fog of regret and disappointment. I became a farmer with a failing operation, living in a cramped, dilapidated house. Life hadn't turned out the way I'd hoped, but I had one source of comfort, a loyal wife who stood by me through everything, and two bright, beautiful daughters. I was well liked around town too. After all, I'd once brought glory to this place, but now I was on the verge of losing it all. I sat alone in my pickup, drowning in regret. A few months earlier, desperate to give my family a better life, I'd gone all in on a risky gamble. While everyone else planted corn, I'd borrowed against everything I owned to plant 200 hectares of soybean. Higher risk, but higher reward. It was my only shot at turning things around. The beans weren't ready yet, but I was already 4 months behind on the bank loans. If I couldn't come up with the money in 3 days, the bank would auction off everything I owned within 2 weeks. My wife and daughters would have nowhere to go. I sat on the couch that night, cradling my sleeping daughter in my arms, rewinding and replaying the tape of that fateful game over and over. With each viewing, the self-loathing deepened. 2 of my teammates had been wide open, completely undefended, but I'd wanted to be the hero, and in doing so, I'd destroyed my entire life.